Greetings gamers, welcome to AccessEuphoria. I am Johnny and today we're looking at a how-to guide on kind of scouting every regen / new gen, because obviously people still can't decide which one to call it. We're just stuck in our ways. Us old FM players are just stuck in our ways of regen because that's kind of what we know it as, whereas you young blood call it new gens, I guess. But new gens, regens, wherever it is, everybody loves getting them, and this is kind of the ultimate guide to find every single new gen / regen that comes through in youth intakes. So buckle up, let's get started. Have you got FM21 yet? If not, drop down in the description, click the link, and as you see there, it'll take you directly to FM21. Smash in AccessEuphoria in the discount code on checkout and you'll get an extra 10% off, saving you some extra dough. So, first, it's quite easy to do this. I've just simulated a year ahead in this random leads thing. I've not played any games, Rob, so you can kind of forget whatever's on here. We're only bothered about the regen side of things. So, off the screen, I'm going to press Control W, which is a shortcut to go to the world transfers. Obviously, you can do that yourself by going on the world here, and then going for transfers and so on. But Control W on your keyboard will just take you straight here. Nice, easy shortcut. Now, you will be on like all transfers, and then you just go down to youth intake, and here's all the youth intakes. It does sort it by year, so we've got 2020 and 2021 because we are currently at the end of May 2021. So if we go to 2020 and I control all on the keyboard, that selected them all. You can see we've got 449 regens or new gens came through in youth intakes in 2020. And there will be loads because we do start in like August time, so you don't tend to get a load of them come through at the back end of the year. Plus, I've not got tons of leagues loaded, but you can see there, that's all of them that came through. So if you click on a few of them, you can see here, there's a Welsh guy. A lot of them are going to be pretty rubbish. That's just kind of the part and parcel of it, but there will be some little gems in there. And this is kind of a really good method to find those little gems before the bigger clubs like the Man Cities and the Chelseas, the Arsenals, the PSGs and Barcelonas pick them up themselves. So yeah, that's kind of that one. Now, if you notice 2021, when it's had a full half season to go, you get a lot of the new gens come through in the beginning half. If I control A here, there's 5,500 new gen regen players. So that's a hell of a lot. But what you can do is if you select this one and then drag it down, select here holding the shift key on your keyboard, you can then select, and unfortunately you do have to do it at 500 at a time. So if we get to about 500, there we go. You can then add them to the shortlist. So what I tend to do is I go through and I do it every couple of months. So you wouldn't normally have like 5,000 odd to do in one go. But if you do it every couple of months in game, you can go through and add all these to your shortlist. And then if you go to your scouting and shortlist, I then create a couple of extra shortlists by going to new shortlist, and something like holding pen is what I tend to call it. It doesn't really matter what you call them. But effectively what you can do is go in here and you can sort of just select the players. So we've got these 400 odd. If we imagine all 5,000 players are in here that were on that list, well, first off the bat, we can see who's actually interested in joining us. And we could have that at unsure. I'll let you decide what you want it as. You could have it higher if you just want to purely fill out the ones that definitely would come to you rather than the ones that might need a bit of coercing. But you can fill that out. So right off the bat, we had about 470 odd there. So it's lost a few out. Now imagine if this were like 5,000, we probably would have lost a couple of thousand off the bat right there. That are already at clubs. I mean, the thing is, we are Leeds in the Premier League, so you're going to be able to attract them off bigger teams, but they're going to generally want a lot more money and playing time and things like that. So it depends what club you're at. You might find that you lose 75% of them, 50% of them, none of them. If you're like a Barcelona or something, it depends where you are at. But that's a good easy one. So all you need to do then is, again, Control Alt and then move them to the holding pen. When you then untick it, when they've moved across, and again, you will have to kind of do this for a few, but all these players now, you can just remove. So again, Control A and remove these from the default because we know they don't want to join us. job done. So we now go over here, we've now narrowed it down. Now we can do even more to it. So right off the bat, we can do a new search. And for example, if you play a tactic that doesn't use wingers, you could filter out all the wingers. You can see here, and you could just remove them as well. And there's no point scouting players that you're not going to use. I do this quite a lot for my saves because I tend to build a tactic and stick with that. I like to sort of just have my way of playing and go with that and get the players, develop them through into set positions. And so I'm not going to randomly put in a winger if I'm not using wingers, or a striker if I'm not using strikers, or so on. So I can filter those positions out. It's pointless me bothering scouting them. And again, that can remove quite a lot of people. Another thing can be is actually filtering it to the regen age. You will actually get older regen new gens come through to fill gaps. So for example, if we go to age here, and you want to say is at most 18 sort of thing, because sometimes you can get regens there. Again, another thing here is if you're trying to get the player in and they've got, for example, for homegrown rules, they need to play 3 years at your club before the age of 20 or something, then you're really going to need to narrow it to 16, 17, because if they're 18, 3 years is going to be 21. They're going to be too old, they won't be homegrown. So it depends how you want to tweak it, but I say about 18. So for example, if we now chuck in insert, because we don't have that. Oh no, we do have the Regen here. So is at least is the one I want, not at most. Is at least 18. So you can see here we've got a few players that are 18, no one above it, which is fine. But I can then take them all out. So I've only got players up to the age of 18, nobody over it. So again, any old new gen regens coming through, you can remove. Again, I'm only doing this on a short sample amount because I want to keep it short and to the point for you guys. But yeah, so that's another one you can do. The next few you can do, even if you don't have, for example, a lot of the scouting on them, generally you'll have, for example, on their determination stat, you might have it saying 11 to 16 or 4 to 8 or whatever. It generally gives you a value, even if you don't know that much about them. You generally have got a decent value range. And a lot of the garbage players that will come through will generally have really low determination or really low pace or something like that. And you can filter them out without even knowing the full amount, because you can put in the quick bit here, attributes, determination is at most, and let's go like 8, because that's pretty low determination. You could even have it higher, but look at that, 125 players are under that mark. Now, it's not a golden guarantee that you're not going to have a superstar in there. I mean, this guy, he looks all right, to be honest. He has low determination for 8. I personally like higher. But, I mean, you could have that just at 5 or 6 and, filter it that way. But if you imagine that 125 over 5,500, that's probably another couple of thousand you've shed off. You can do the same thing for, so rather than determination, you can do it for pace. Any players less than like 5 pace. I mean, come on, guys. If they've got 5 pace, they're never going to really develop to become that fast, are they? Now, you will obviously have a lot of goalkeepers in there. But all these other players, bar goalkeepers, get rid of them. So there's lots of things you can do to then filter it out. And then out of that, say, 5,500, you're probably going to be left with between 500 and 1,000. Depends how stringent you've been with your filters. I tend to be quite stringent to get the number down as much as possible, especially in the early years where you've not got as many scouts. And then from that point, you've got your whatever players left. So we'll just take this 27 here, for example. Well, actually, we'll remove it. We'll do the whatever's left here. So we've got this 400 odd. So then you can scout them. Now, you can only scout them in groups of 50. So again, select one, scroll down. It's usually a few scroll rules, scrolls of your wheel, and you get to about 50. And then you can report and get assign scout, scouting pool, get scout report, whatever you want to do. But I say get scout report, and they'll go scout them. Now, a handy tip I do is, because generally at this point I'm in like a spare shortlist, I don't put anyone into my default shortlist. I don't add them in there. How I do it is when I scout them, I have it set to add them in there. So it only has people in the default shortlist who I'm actually scouting. And that way I can kind of keep on top of it a bit better. And the way to do that is under scouting here is put it so that you shortlist indefinitely when you scout them. So that way, when you press get scout report, it will add them to your shortlist, your default shortlist. And that way they're ready for you. So it's quite easy, guys, to do, but it is time consuming. So you do have to have a lot of patience to do it. But if you want to find loads of new gens and regens, then this is an option that's available to everyone. It will depend on a few factors. Like I said, you know, if you're a low-level club, you're not going to have a lot of scouts. You're not going to have a lot of scout knowledge. So which is this up here. You can see that we have 19% world knowledge. So in those countries, we're going to know a little bit more about those players than the countries we don't know about. Now, if you're like a League 2 club, you're not going to have great scouting knowledge. You're not going to have a lot of scouts. So on most players, you're going to have like an age range, unless you've disabled the attribute masking, of course. But you're going to have like an attribute range. You're not going to know tons about them, things like that. But you can still filter them out. You're going to have more, you know, if you're a low level club, you're going to have more of them that don't want to join you. But it is part and parcel of how it goes. That is the method to do it, guys. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you understand how to do it. So the main thing is Control W. So go to your transfers, world transfers, go to youth intakes, and just every couple of months go through and just add them to shortlist, filter out the ones that aren't going to join you, that don't look very good, and concentrate your scouting resources on the ones that do look promising and look interesting to you guys. So hopefully, like I said, that's been useful. If it has, please drop a like, drop a thumbs up, and as always, I'll catch you soon for the next one. Bye for now.